Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Qala rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Today inshallah we'll do lessons from Surah Zalzala and then introduction and of Surah Adiyat, and we'll finish Surah Adiyat too. So 3 points for the lessons from Surah Zalzala. As I mentioned, these surahs are in a collective way of picturization of the day of judgment, of the Qiyamah, step by step. The first one is the earth has a recording mechanism. So earth is recording everything, and there is a beautiful hadith in which Rasulullah has mentioned that do not do the trivial sins thinking that it will not gonna affect you. Take even a smallest sin very seriously and avoid it, because how Rasulullah give an example is that when you want to start a fire, you collect small pieces of the wood or the branches of the tree until you have enough branches, and you make a fire. Same way, these small trivial sins can collect and collect and collect, and then it will be a fire for you. So very, very important, and the seriousness of the situation that Rasulullah is highlighting, this hadith is in Musnad Ahmad, that you have to make sure that you take even the smallest sins very seriously and just avoid committing it. You have to be very, very serious how you behave, how you act, and sins are bad. And in another hadith mentioned that if a trivial sin, a small sin is done repeatedly, it becomes a major sin. So that's why sins are that we need to avoid at all cost. And then number 2 point is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us the seriousness of this situation again by saying that how many witnesses Allah has. Allah has witnessed angels, your own body parts, the earth where it is performed, whatever bad deeds, and ultimately the final witness is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah has the power, Allah has the authority to give the judgment on your deeds. So we need to take these issues very seriously, meaning we need to know that this is not just like we are reading it that is going to happen in future. It is going to happen. Nar and Jannah is al-haq, Qiyamah is al-haq. It is going to happen. We need to keep drilling this in our mind, that we need to be very, very careful, because it will all gonna come back to us. And as far as the wording is concerned, misqal and yarahu, this will come further in the later surah, especially in Surah Qariya. But the weight and the measures on the day of judgment is such that is according to what your capacity and capability is, and how much you could have done, meaning your best effort is needed to do the good deeds with your capacity and capability, and that will be the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will judge you, and your deeds will be weighed accordingly. So again, this is a very critical situation because it's uncertain, and you always need to excel, you always need to do good. And that is how Sahaba has, we give this example to our children, that Sahaba, when they realized it, they are just like they have become they have energy levels so much in them that nothing could have stopped them, because they always feel like they could have done better, and they keep on excelling in doing good. So this is a way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving the open field for you to excel. And we have already read that فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ, that we need to not only excel, we have to do it in a way like when we are na'uzubillah competing for this worldly gains, we have to compete with akhirah. We need to compete in akhirah too by doing good deeds with full sincerity. And remember that the day of judgment, we can only be saved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have already read in Surah Al-Qiyamah. So now we will start Surah Adiyat, and this Surah Adiyat is also Makki Surah, and it is the issue about the people on the day of judgment, they are seeing their deeds, but who are the people who really will be in trouble on the day of judgment? There are two other, human characteristics has been mentioned, and those are the people who will be in trouble if they don't realize it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlighted that as a journal for the whole humanity. And it is also mentioned that when its generalization is, then it is also fall on you. So you have to know that you need to be aware that there is a disease in the heart, that you need to be aware of it, and you need to correct it. You need to do all your effort to correct that disease, whoever you are. The only exemptions are the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they are in the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also the way this surah has been structured, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is again giving the universal truth about humanity. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants the full attention from the people who are listening this surah, and at that time it was Arab. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned this surah in a way that their love at that time was horses and camels, because in one of the hadith is also mentioned that it is camels, but most of the ijma on the exegetes are that this ayat of Adiyat is for horses. And also the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is introducing this surah with the picturization of like a attack with horses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also giving the lesson that a person who owns a horse, what he does to the horse, he feed the horse, he take care of the horse, and horse is in so much in debt with the master that horse even put his own life on line. Whatever the master says, he just do it. Although the master, the person who has the horse, is not the owner of the horse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our owner. And what we are doing, we are not even doing what the animal is doing. Animal has no intellect, but animal is ready to sacrifice his life for the master. But we are not fulfilling that. So that's the another way that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala structured this surah as the beginning. And also, if you look at around you this day and age, people are just, they are just in love of horses, because there is a hadith that mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put khair on the forehead of the horse. So look, people take care of the horses, they love to have horses. The horses are so valuable, selling millions and millions of dollars, and because it has some loyalty to the owner. The loyalty to the owner is something which is very, very important thing that Allah has given to this animal. The word which the universal truth that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will gonna highlight in this surah is innal insana li rabbihi lakanud. And this word kanud is that is the word that is not simply that ungrateful or unthankful, but the person who is always complaining. That is the reality of person, that he's always complaining. He have always negative outlook, although Allah has given him so many blessings, and he is totally unloyal to his master. So these are the things that is highlighted in this surah. And as far as the day of judgment is concerned, again, there is one ayah that will be highlighting what the day of judgment will be. After that, we know that we are witnessing our deeds on the day. The next step will be mafis sudur, that what was our niyyah and motives of doing the deeds. That will also highlighted here. And the issue about, again, love of money is highlighted in this surah also. As far as the recitation is concerned, again, these surahs has been advised by our beloved Prophet to recite in Salah, and there is no specific hadith, but these surahs are recited in Jahr Salah. So we will start Surah Al-Adiyat. وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبْحًا فَالْمُورِيَاتِ قَدْحًا فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا فَعَثَرْنَ بِهِ نَقْعًا فَوَسَطْنَ بِهِ جَمْعًا. The first 5 ayat of this surah are the ayat in which the Allah is giving a picturization of the horses, that how the horses when they run, they pant. And that panting is called dhabhan. There is a sound that comes in when the horse is running and panting. So Allah is taking a vow on the horse running with panting. وَالْمُورِيَاتِ قَدْحًا. And they run so fast that when they strike their feet on the rocks, there is like fire comes out from it. There is fire from it. وَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا. And how do they work with the master? Because it's an attack. Most of the attack that happens in those times were in the early morning hours. So these horses on the action of their masters do not hesitate to go into the attack. And فَأَسَرْنَ بِهِ نَقْعًا. So another way that when a group of horses are running, what they do, there is a dirt, the storm of dirt is behind them. They are actually coming forward, but the storm of dirt is coming behind because they elevate all these dirt. So it also signifies that how intensely they are running. How intensely they are running. And this intensity signifies the attack. This intensity signifies that the master or the owner of the horse which is riding the horse they are following the commands of their master who is riding the horse. فَوَسَطْنَ بِهِ جَمْعًا. And look at how it is that with full intensity they just strike the forces in the heart. They don't care about that an arrow can hit a horse and horse can die. The horse just comes so fast to make sure that the rider or the master which is riding the horse will fulfill what he wants to do in times of attacking the enemy. There is no, you cannot attack someone in slow motion. You cannot attack someone in a laziness. You cannot attack someone when your ride is very, very feeble. So these are the picturization Allah has given us about an animal who is ready to put his life on line to make sure the master get what he wants. There is no mention that these people are doing jihad. There is no mention that these people are robbing a caravan. There is no mention of it. It is just the highlighting that how a horse is ready to fulfill the desire of his master. And the way this surah has, these 5 ayat has been structured is also to catch the full attention of the Arab at that time, because they love horses. They love to own horses. They are so happy to take care of their horses. Horses is just like a treasure for them, and in terms of fighting, in the times of war, the big advantage are the one that people who have horses. There is another mention about the camel, because in a few exegetes have mentioned that this is for all the camels and they are actually riding, and it is the night of Muzdalifah and they go to Mina. That's how they start the fire, and that's how there is cloud of dust, but those are very few. The mainstream exegetes have mentioned that this is about the horses, and this is about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taking all these vows to highlighting the 2 aspects which I just discussed. And now the universal truth. After someone has grabbed the full attention, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now mentioning the universal truth about humanity. What is the universal truth? Innal insana li rabbihi lakanud. That this human is extremely, extremely ungrateful to his Rabb. Why? Because Look at this animal and look at you. Animal has no intellect, you have intellect. And right now you have given the best messenger, you have given the best book, he is the best teacher, he is reciting this Qur'an in front of you, and it is in your language, it is in Arabic language, and you are understanding it, but you are refusing it. You are refusing it. This is the height of ungratefulness for a person who understand the Quran and still refuse it. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlighted. But this ayah is for, this is universal ayah. Meaning Allah has given so many blessings to people. What do they do with their blessings? Allah has given us eyesight. Allah has given us way to speak. Allah has given us the ability to hear. So with eyesight, if you do haram from the eyesight, you are ungrateful. If you are listening to evil from your ears, you are ungrateful. If you are doing bad from your both arms, you are ungrateful. These are all the things that Allah has given you without you even asking. You know, if someone loses one eye or both eyes, now he can pay whatever he want to pay, he cannot get the vision back. So imagine how much, as far as the monetary value you can put on, but there is no comparison in it. This is all Allah has given you as free gifts. And we should be using it to glorify Allah, to submit to Allah, to make sure that we love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most. If we do against it, then we are very ungrateful. So this is the first universal truth. The second universal truth, Allah says, وَإِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ. Because we have the intellect, we sometimes do things which we know it's not allowed in the Sharia, but we rationalize it. So we are also becoming a witness on our transgressions by rationalizing it. We are also, people say it openly when they do fisq fujur, they say openly because nothing happened to them. At that time there is no sudden collapse of them or have a stroke at that time and they are spitting out anything bad from their mouth against Allah or Rasulullah or against the hudud of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is, they are witness with their saying, also witness with their action. So this is the state of humanity who has given so many capabilities and intellect by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah is now highlighting the third universal truth, that why is this happening? وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. Because a person has intense love of money. He does not want to give anything good to no one. This is here innahu libil khair la shadid. Khair is translated as the money, but khair means every good. You want good to yourself. You don't want good to anyone else. Look around the world right now. Even the nations who are blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for any blessings, they don't want to share those blessings to no one else. Even they are Muslims, they don't want to share the blessings. So why? Because it is the way that they want to hoard everything to them. They don't want to keep it with them. And that is why they transgress. That is why they never able to fulfill their desires. And in this way, there is a hadith that, Rasulullah says that if man has given one mountain of gold, he will need another one. He will say, I need another one. If he has given the second one, he will say, I need the third one. The only thing that can fulfill that thing, keep asking, is the dirt of the grave. So these are the three universal truths that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has highlighted. And now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now calling your conscience, calling you to think and ponder and act accordingly. So Allah says, أَفَلَا يَعْلَمُوا إِذَا بُعْثِرَ مَا فِي الْقُبُورِ. Didn't you know that whatever is in the graves, it will come out. We have already read that وَأَخْرَجْتُ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا, the earth will gonna spit out everything from its belly. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is specifically doing at a personal level that the grave that you're gonna go in, the grave will be turned upside down on the day of judgment. Everything will gonna come out from the grave. And this is the way that you should know that you will be alone in the grave. There will be no one with you, only your deeds. So how much you should be, that you should be careful with your deeds, that you are taking your deeds only in the grave where you will be alone. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is highlighting the second part of the day of judgment, that people were witnessing their deeds. Now Allah says وَحُسِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also gonna make it evident whatever is in their hearts, whatever in their chest, whatever in their bosom, whatever the motives and the niyyah they had when they were doing all these deeds. So the way that it is mentioned in وَحُسِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala peel off everything, whatever is in your heart. Allah will peel it off. You cannot hide nothing from it. Nothing will be hidden. So the first is we will witness our deeds. The second step that will come on the day of judgment is that we will be now looking at the deeds with our intent, because the intent is also now known. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala know the intents. Only this is only Allah knows. Angels didn't know. Our body parts didn't know. They only are witnessing the deeds. But the intent of the deed, the motive of the deed, the niyyah of the deed is only known by Allah. And Allah will open that also on the day of judgment. And that's what Allah says, Inna rabbahum bihim yawma izin la khabir, that there is no doubt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of everything what you have done. This is the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is aware right now, but on the day of judgment it will be open. It will be open, and Allah will be there to give the judgment because of your niyyah. The judgment will come on your deeds. The way on the deeds will be given according to your niyyah. So we'll stop here. Wa akhiru dawana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.